And when I said that the sky is the limit, I meant the No Man's Sky, obviously.
Current preset for Aqara Opple is bedroom. Current preset for Aqara Opple is No Man's Sky.
I actually can't believe this worked so well, especially that it took about 10 minutes to set it up. Now, that's what happens when you have more buttons than sense. When it comes to connected switches or buttons, IKEA Tratrai, it's probably the cheapest one you could find. It's about £6 in UK, and it comes with 2 buttons and 4 actions, making it about £3 per button or £1.50 per action. This is Aqara Opple. Opple? It's not Apple, definitely not. But it costs around £11 on Banggood, and I'll link it in the description to this video, and it comes with 6 different buttons. On top of these, each button has 4 different actions. So that's for a grand total of 24 actions. Well, 18 plus hold and release, because those are going to be used in a different manner. So if you calculate this right, it's less than £2 per button and about 45 pence per action. That's next to nothing. And as you could see, the sky is the limit, or No Man's Sky is the limit, in terms of assigning different mappings, which virtually you can create an infinite number of actions for one of these. This is Zigbee protocol. This is my favorite Zigbee protocol, which means I will be for sure able to interact with Node-RED. But first of all, let's talk about form factor. You have 6 buttons. Individual buttons have access to a single, double and triple clicks, and also hold and release actions, which means you can use hold release in 2 ways. You can either time it and have a different timings for different actions, or you can just use a loop to scroll through different events. I'm going to explain that in a moment. Now, it has obviously a wall switch factor, but actually the plate is removable, so you can remove the controller from the magnetic plates, and it's much smaller, and you can, I don't know, put it in the pocket. Now, while buttons are standard push buttons, there's nothing special about it, but they're quite clickable, and there is a small LED to let you know that everything's working, and there is a pairing button at the bottom. Now, one of the things that concerned me at first was that actually there is no slot for battery, which at first I thought maybe the battery isn't replaceable, which would be a really terrible choice. However, with a bit of a screwdriver action, you'll be able to open it. I don't know who designed the battery compartment, but they didn't do a great job. Whoever designed the battery compartment on this should be hung dry. Now, if you notice the scratches on the buttons, it's caused by my first opening. I was less careful and I was trying to figure out my way in. Now, take your time and use a plastic spatula, something to lift individual bars of buttons. Be careful, as they have like a small standoff, which I'm going to show you in a second, that they use to clip into the bracket. They look fragile. I don't think they're gonna last very long if you keep popping it open. Now remove the screw and the plastic bracket, and you'll be able to access the battery compartment. I don't know why it's so complicated. Now on board you'll notice JN5189, which is a chip from XNP, and there's plenty of dev pads as well, which means this device could be potentially good for hacking. I don't know if there is enough community to get that done, but this is how the device looks like inside. Now, if you're gonna put this back together, just label all the bars to make sure which one was first, etc., because they have slightly different shapes and it's gonna be a puzzle otherwise. And there we go, Aqara Opple inside. Since it's Zigbee, my first thought was to link it with existing ecosystems that I have, which means Mi Home, Tuya and Evolink. Unfortunately, I found out that neither of them are actually working. This is exclusive for Aqara Home, which means yet another Zigbee device that is fragmenting the Zigbee market, which is, I don't understand this, because since Apple and Google is joining Zigbee Alliance, The main thought would be that devices would be cross-compatible between manufacturers. Fortunately, if you don't have Aqara Home, you can use Node-RED and my favorite debugger CC2531, which I have a video about it in here. Now with this, it pairs quickly and it's already in a database, so you don't have to write a different driver. Just simply add a new device to your Zigbee to MQTT and you'll start using all 24 actions instantly. Now in this video, I'm going to show you a couple of things. First of all, I will show you how to create infinite, well, it's not going to be infinite, let's face it, you're going to have 2 or 3 presets, but I'm going to show you how to create different presets for these and how to change it with the clicks of the buttons. So you could change it from the remote and also receive the feedback from, in this case, Amazon Echo, Google Home and Android device, so you always know which preset is active on your Aqara Opple. And in the description of this video, in an associated article, I'm going to link a couple of other things that you can do with the buttons, like connecting and controlling different lights, controlling PC and sending commands to a Windows computer, sending information back to a mobile, or interacting with Tasker for Android devices. So let's jump into Node-RED and I'll show you how to quickly change the presets with a voice feedback from a smart speaker. Just like this.
Current preset for Aqara Opple is Office.
So this is the Node-RED and it's not very complicated. First of all, I assume you already connected it and you can receive the messages. Messages, obviously, they use MQTT to get into the Node-RED. So if you take a look at the debug menu, let me open the debug menu for you. And when I press the button, I'll get a payload in here, which basically will tell me battery, voltage, link quality, and the action. So in payload actions, that's going to be where the button information or what kind of button you've pressed information is stored. So this is for single, this is for double, and there's a triple and press and hold. If you press and hold, first the hold is going to be issued, and then when you release it, you get a release message. So you can actually specify how long you want to hold the button, which is good because you can interact with the device in many different variants. Now, to create different presets, first of all, you have to create a preset. So these are very simple ones. So if you take a look at my preset in here, this is just a switch node with 24 actions. Now for each actions, I'm going to have button 1 single, button 1 double, triple, and release. Obviously, you don't have to use the hold unless you want to do it for something else, but the release is where you want to time your action on. Now replicate that for all 6 buttons and you've got a preset sorted, and probably you want to save that information somewhere so you would remember which button does what. Now when it comes to toggling the presets, I've reserved 2 buttons. First of all, button 1 triple and button 2 triple. So these will help me iterating through 3 different presets, either increasing the preset number or decreasing the preset number, which I store as a flow variable in here. So you can see preset 3 is right now active. So if I want to lower it, all I have to do is press the button 3 times. So let's do that. So 1, 2, 3. And I can see button triple. And you'll see that my preset changes to 2. If I press anything other than that, obviously it's going to go to the 3rd position in the switch and it will execute the action in the preset. Now, when that happens, I've got another switch node which basically defines which preset I should be using at the time using the flow preset menu here. So now this is sorted, so let's take a look at the 2 scripts that control iterating up and iterating down. I first take the value from that preset, so I would know where I'm standing, and then obviously just iterating it and resetting it. I've also created a small switch statement which sets a preset name for smart speakers to speak. So I have bedroom, office, and in this case No Man's Sky, because why not? Now to do it with Amazon Echo, I've used Alexa Remote 2, and this is really cool and very simple. All you have to do is just submit the text as a message payload, and that's it. Use Alexa routine node, and you will make Alexa speak. That's great. And now it's slightly more complicated when it comes to Google Home, and I've used a cast version 2 node. It's easy to set up, but in order to send the payload, you have to submit this JSON response in here. And in the text field, I'm submitting the message payload, which is already formatted by the preset. Now, lastly, for Android notifications, I've used join, so I can send it to Android or I can send it to computers. And I also have to compose a push message, which is composed in here. And if you want to know more, I'll link the additional video how to use join in Node-RED for you. Lastly, if you want to iterate down, obviously it's pretty much all the same with the different values in the if statement. Oops. And iteration goes down, but everything else is basically carbon copy of the preset app. Now for my interaction with No Man's Sky game, all I had to do is just specify where I'm sending the controls and the controls names to make them as a unique command, so I could intercept it with Event Ghost. So if I open my Event Ghost, you'll notice that in here I've got No Man's Sky controls split into 3 parts. Now I have a down, release and order. So on down I basically send keystrokes and I decide whether the keystrokes are pressed down or pressed up. I've linked those events to button hold and release action. So this way it basically imitates my fingers on the keyboard pressing down and not longer pressing down the buttons, and that way the game picks up on the movement. It's pretty clear that Aqara Opple it's not going to replace DualShock for any time soon. But if you want to know how I've replaced, how I used that as a controller on a computer, it was quite simple. I've used Auto Remote to send the commands for individual buttons back to Event Ghost. Now, there was a big latency associated with me trying to hold down and buttons to trigger the movement, and obviously the less latency was present when there was just a single presses, as I didn't have to wait for the hold events to happen on the device like this. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that little showcase of Aqara Opple. If you're interested, obviously links in the description of this video, and I'm gonna end up with my usual announcement that I don't have a posting schedule, so if you're interested in any other content, probably want to follow me on social media of your choice, and you'll get a notification whenever new content is out. As for now guys, you know how YouTube works, so share, like and do whatever you want. And I'll see you in the next video, so take care, bye!